Listen, this definitely taught us a few lessons, right? As North Americans, even Europeans, if you will, this reliance on Asia and China. A lot of companies have Plan Bs, right? But I think those Plan Bs probably got a little bit more accelerated.
So you're right, but the Plan Bs aren't so simple. And a lot of people haven't really thought through the Plan B all the way. So I can understand a larger organization that has invested heavily in manufacturing. Maybe they're a joint venture or they own their own facilities or something like that, can easily transition from one of their operations to another, or at least a portion of their manufacturing. I'm going to move, from this facility in China to this facility in Brazil. At least I'll control a lot more to flow, or Mexico, or whatever it is.
Sure.
That's a large organization. A smaller organization that maybe doesn't have their own setup, or they're just sourcing from, native factories in wherever they're sourcing. They need to go where that product is made to be competitive, to be, So that company is going to say, okay, yeah, maybe we'll reshore a product. I've heard that term recently, right?
Right.
What most people don't understand is that bringing a product manufacturing into a new marketplace, what about your raw material supply? Mm-hmm. Where's that coming from?
Right.
What about your subcomponent supply?
Right.
Where's that coming from?
Right.
What about the skilled workforce? What about the machinery that's going to be needed? So the infrastructure to do most of the manufacturing that people talk about reshoring doesn't exist here in North America right now.
Right.
So it's not so simple as just say, let's find a factory locally that does this. There aren't factories locally.
Very true.
It's taken decades for China to ramp up the production with, hundreds of billions of dollars invested, and how many people on the ground actually doing this? Literally millions and millions in new industrial zones, and that they position themselves to be who they are, just like Vietnam is doing now. Just like India is doing now. It's not so simple to just, yes, I agree, it's easier if you don't have to put a container on a ship.
Right.
But that's not necessarily the answer. It might not be so simple to just move it back here. And the solution to these supply chain challenges, I don't think it's in a radical change like that. I think the solution is going to be in drilling down in every single one of those areas to find, how do we hedge against this problem? How do we hedge against this problem? And we have to take an analytical perspective to it as opposed to like a broad stroke reaction.
Right. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's not that easy just to have, bring the Plan B into place. I just think that it's going to be accelerated.
Yeah.
It's going to take some time. Don't get me wrong, but what was, I don't want to say on the back burner, but kind of like
right.
There, it has to be done kind of thing. It's kind of moving up the ladder a little bit, and honestly, dealing with Asia at this point, like with the government shutdowns, whatever else is going on in China, whether it's mandatory shutdowns or shutdowns due to illness, it's very hard from our perspective to gauge, what 2023, what 2024
right.
is going to bring. But like right now, what we're seeing as projections is 2023 is probably not going to be that much better. So
right, I think you're right about that. I think people need to plan medium term. It's not like it isn't always going to look like it looks now. I don't think it's ever going to look like it used to look.
Right.
But right now, we need to plan for the next 1 to 2 years. We can't expect that, within 6 months we're going to be able to fix this, because that's what was being said in 2021.
Right.
When people were looking at it and say, yeah, give it 6 months to 8 months, it'll regulate. No. We're not in that reality.
And you know what? Year 1 was challenging. We've learned. Year 2 was better. Right. And as we move forward and go through it, experience it more, we'll get even better.
Right.
So we're adjusting to the realities. And those new realities, if you will. So, what used to typically take you, 120 days to get something from door to door, it's become 150, 180 days.
Right.
So when you're planning, that's already in your plan, versus being in year 1, you're still planning for the 120 days.
That's right. And you didn't want to buy too much inventory because, I don't want to be stuck with too much. And if you had that strategy, you'd have been out of stock a lot.
Correct. So it's because now the lead times are bigger, you're buying more.
Right.
So your investment is that much more
That's right.
ahead of time, and that's the risk.
That's right.